Alright guys, what is up? Welcome back in to the Red Bull Global Qualifiers number 2. We are in quarterfinal number 4, starting up here at the top right side of the map. We have the Zerg player symbol. Played almost a good enough game to get himself through. It's always one of those things. It's like either you have enough ground support and you have enough ability to reinforce the Broodlords, or you just fall apart, because the Broodlords, you have to think in general how big of an investment that is. You're looking at Spire, Greater Spire, and usually upgrades with them. You're looking at getting Corruptors out on the map and also forming the actual Broodlords. You're hogging up a huge chunk of supply, so if you can't win with them, it's not good. And that's the thing. He started walking up into the 4th base. Tempest started sniping away at the Broodlords. He started losing all the... The Blinkstalkers came in, and you can't really... Broodlord numbers, when it's only 2 or 3 of them, you can't do anything with them. So after the initial set of, what was it, 9 or 10 that got wiped out, it was basically game for him. So we'll see though how he plays out game number 2. Maybe we'll see a little bit of a, who knows, deja vu versus Hush earlier today. Where he'll just go mass swarm host right up in his own gold base area. But down at the bottom left side of the map, also a teamless player, but getting very deep into these qualifiers, we have Deer. So Deer dropping the Forge Fast Expand right now. Deer, again, like I said, he played a good game. I can't find too many issues with it. Like he did everything. He did everything right. He was under a lot of pressure under his 3rd base originally. He was forced to warp in a lot of units rather than focus on his tech. Managed to take a really nice 4th base positioning. Had the proper count out, made sure he continued harassing, took out the 4th hatch over there. Really limited the options for Symbol that game, so just when eventually came down to it, he had the right composition, made the right read, and just bowled him down, man. Bowled him down. Symbol going for the 3rd hatch. And this is what happens with the Forge Fast Expand, man. Like, it's like, it'll put you, it's hitting the snooze button, man. It's like hitting the snooze button in StarCraft. That's the best way I could describe it. Alright, well, we'll see what Deer decides to do off of this Forge Fast Expand. Deer, of course, one of those typical Kespa Macro Protoss type of players. He reminds me a lot of Rain, so he reminds me a lot of Rain, a lot about Classic as well, so we'll see, though, because one thing I would love to see is an Immortal Sentry push. It's one of those things I actually haven't seen in quite a while. I still consider it very effective. On this map, it's even more so effective. I've seen how many games that have just ended right in this area. You get some really nice force fields up on that high ground, let Immortals pick off. You could even do that stronger, I guess what you want to call it, 14-minute, 15-minute push with about 4 Immortals, Blinkstalkers, and a heavy set of Sentries and Zealots. So really just up to him how he wants to play this out. Dropping the Stargate right now in the back over here. Overlord coming back inside the main base to scout out what's going on, floating over the natural as well. He has a pretty good idea. I mean, wall off is a wall off. That's a wall off. And just kind of a quick reminder, after the series, I'm trying to find a way to word this properly. After the series, we're going to head over back to the NA server. I'm going to check in with the admins and see what their situation is, and if Journey and Hydra finish up about the same time that we do, I imagine we might still have a chance to broadcast the semifinal, but there is also a chance that Red Bull might just grab both of them, which is pretty cool. I mean, of course, if you guys don't know, they're Twitch TV / Red Bull Esports, so we'll have to wait and see. Who knows? There might be still potential for a little bit more games. Which I'm down for. I'm so down for. I'm always down for more games, man. So down. This has just been exciting. I don't know. For me, these past few weeks have been really exciting. Summer season kicked in. Massive amounts of tournaments, qualifiers, content all over the place. Actually, kind of missed. Today we didn't see base trade, man. Got a little sad. Alright, so Oracle floating in right over here for a symbol. One thing I noticed, do I not have... Ah. I don't have sound effects, that's what I realized. I'm like, you know what something's missing in this game? Sound effects. We're missing hearing the carnage of oracles just blowing through everything. The only thing we heard was Nidus worms. Nidus worms literally break the sound setting. Alright, so Deer poising himself for a little bit more of a frontal aggression right now. Mothership core catching up. Total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gates total? Yeah, it looks like 7 gates, so going for a very strong 7-gate aggression. He's already got some forward sentries propped. Of course, he's going to have some Oracle support as well along the way. There's 3 Spine Crawlers in position, and these are a little bit tough position too. Look at these. They're tucked in very far deeply into the third base, so depending on how Deer gets a read on this, he might want to go... I don't know if he wants to fight out the Spine Crawlers. We'll see. Like, this is a very tough position. Like, he might want to rearrange it and maybe go inside the natural. But he's going for it. It's starting to slowly pick away and pick and prod and poke away at the Spine Crawler. There we go. Dropping the Time Warp, gets a Force Field, hugging all these Roaches. The Roaches are going to go through, though. More Warpins coming. Remember, this is 7 gate. This is very aggressive coming out from Deer. Very, very aggressive right now. Coming back in once again. Oracle about out of energy, actually helping to try to take out these Roaches right now. It's going to continue pushing on forward. 1 Spine Crawler left. Not a lot of units. He's trying to get another Spore Crawler over here. He's trying to really work it with the Queens, but man, you got to look at the units. There's not a lot left, unfortunately, for Deer. Doing a pretty good job of holding the drones right now. Now here comes the resurgence from Symbol. Lings are coming out. More Queens coming out. That's actually a total of 5 Queens plus Roach is starting to push everything out, utilizing drones also to push his way out. Now drones, that's always a very risky thing to do, because anytime you push out drones, you're losing time in terms of mining. So as this push continues, man, the lack of drones will maybe have a little bit of an effect. He does have some Lings now, which will give some good surface area, but the amount of Roaches is pretty high as well. Deer continuing to push in, putting in a lot of pressure, trying to take out as many units as he possibly can, actually focus firing these Roaches. He knows that the Lings are very insignificant at this point in time. Now, due to having such a high amount of Queens, if he gives them time to gather their energy, they're going to be able to continually transfuse these Roaches, and that's exactly what they're doing. At this point in time, we might see Deer forced to push, start warping it off of this back pylon over here. Might be the case, but Roaches do still come down. The problem is right now is these Queens. The Queens are very thick, they're very fat, they're not dying, and they're gathering energy, so they're able to transfuse themselves and they're able to transfuse other units. 8 more Roaches in production, and at this point Deer's just going to fall back. Yeah, if he continued that and lost all of his units, it might have been GG. Alright, as we check it back in the game, sorry I had to put a little thing in chat. Alright, 9 drones in production, infestation pit underway. It looks like both players are just stabilizing for the most part. But when we talk about stabilizing, we also look at Symbol and how many Roaches he's got. He not only has, he's basically stabilized and he's going to be going... He's going to be going for the aggressive, man. He's got to be careful, though. There's a lot of sentries here. He might catch him. Oh, man. Split second, man. Game of seconds. That's what we talk about. Split second right there. Reacted a little bit sooner. Might have been able to just wall off this whole entire bridge and catch a good chunk of Roaches on his own. Now, for now, the Roaches for Symbol are going to rotate over to the right side of the map, see if they can maybe, I guess, come over to the right side. Let's see their pathing. They're going to come through here, come to the 4th base. Okay. Meanwhile, back at home, Symbol... absolutely in love. Today is Valentine's Day for Symbol, and he's sending love letters to Swarm hosts. Just 6 in production. The Locust upgrade is well underway. And like I said, we might, at the very beginning of the game, we might see a little bit of a deja vu from the Hush series with him earlier today. Like I said, for those that didn't watch, what happened ended up being was this whole entire area of Hush, who was a Protoss player as well, by the way, was walled off by spores, spines, and like good, 15 to 20 swarm hosts with queens and vipers all over the place. There was a hatchery here for Symbol as well. It was watching one of the most obnoxious things ever. Like, Hush was just pushed so deeply inside his own base that he really couldn't do too much. So who knows, we might be able to see it again. At least, worst comes worst, what this becomes these swarm hosts, a good deterrent to any follow-up, because sometimes we have seen that, just like this. We see two mortals coming out. We've seen guys like MC. After they fail, I don't want to say after they fail, after they draw back off of their initial gateway attack, they'll add on a robo and begin including immortals, and then they'll do like a 14 or 16 minute follow-up of that attack. Now Roaches do manage to sneak their way in over here. Is there any way to save this base? No, there is not. So he will lose the base, and now he's going to lose some sentries along the way too. After losing it, he hugged the Roaches right up on them. And, man, this is just not good for Deer right now. Deer, oh dear. Yeah, Symbol's in a really good position here, and Symbol's pulling out the Nidus, man. I love it. Symbol is pulling out the Nidus. Good stuff. This is what he actually did earlier today on King Sage on Station also versus Hush in their second game. And the nice thing is, when you have a Nidus network, you're going to be able to pop it out. It's going to give you a little bit of additional creep in that area. You bring queens with you, they're going to spread creep right away in that area as well. They're going to have area where they're going to be able to creep on. So I imagine eventually, if Deer does get drawn back anywhere inside his own base once again, we'll see a Nidus network probably pop up somewhere right around here. Or maybe right here. There's that Ling again. There's that one damn dangerous Ling again. Just there on hold position, chilling out. Now, Deer is being pretty sneaky. You can see right here he's continuing warp-ins over here at the left side of the map, looking to see if maybe if there's a gold base that pops up, or if at the top left side there's another hatchery. And this is funny because Symbol like refuses to take this top left hatch. Protoss warp in and assume that somebody's going to take a hatch over here and they're going to be able to spread them out really nicely. No, Symbol's just like, no, it's cool. I'll just stay on 3 base for now with Swarm Host. Ooh, man, got that Immortals are focusing on the queens, man. They could have hit that hatchery before he got a chance to cancel it. Now, that's a really nice catch for him right there, because those queens were pretty important. Those were the additional queens that he had. They would have been the ones that would have been able to help spread creep and transfuse if anything happened to them right away. But harassment ends up coming into the 3rd base from those Zealots on the left side, able to clear out a couple of building spine crawlers, so it does weaken up the wall. But in turn, loses some Zealots for it. Deer this time, though, I think he's the one. He understands a little bit better than Hush what he needs to do to be able to actually deal with Swarm Hosts. He's getting the Colossus numbers. He's got 6 total out right now. He's got Stalkers. Does he have Blink on those Stalkers? Yes, he does, and that's what he needs right there. With the Immortal and a lot of Blink Stalkers, he's going to be able to just basically rail. I don't know about that. That's a lot of Swarm Hosts. He should still be able to. Like I said, the magic number is 6. He's got +2 upgrades, so he should be able to break through. Drops some force field, starts clearing the wave. He's got an observer with him, so he's going to be able to push back the creep as well along the way. He still has some more force fields available. The locusts are basically coming to their death. They're filtering out like one at a time. And now all of these locusts are going to be brought down into a very choked up area. The Colossus are trying to sneak away, but the Yanks keep coming. He does manage to actually save 2 Colossus. Check that out. That doesn't happen too often, but one more Yank finishes off that one right there. Hatch does not get canceled, snipes that down, so we're back to 3 base versus 3 base. Meanwhile, down over here at the bottom right side of the map, Deer manages to just get up his 4th base. As you can see, workers are rallying over, and see, this is what I want to see, because I feel like Hush was in a very similar, I don't want to say similar because it was a little bit of a different game that happened, but in a very similar position in terms of base count to base count. As long as he has still a good amount of Colossus, he's going to have +3 attack. This time he's got Templars and Storm right away. He's got Stalkers. Symbol's going to have to make a move soon, because once again, Just like in game number 1, Deer taking out the options away from Symbol. He's going to bind him down into a hard decision. Eventually, if he can't get a very stable fourth base up, he's going to be, once again, in a little bit of an ultimatum position. Do I go for the attack? Do I risk and sit back and let my opponent kind of move around and try to get to me? He still has the Nidus network too, remember, so he could reposition anywhere really on the map where he's got vision of. But it is nice having that fourth base up, additional gas, additional resources. He's adding in Stargates. Fleet Beacon is about done. Plus 2 armor underway. Now, how many Stargates? Is that 1, 2, 2 Stargates? Well, that's fair, because two Stargates while you're getting also upgrades for him. And I think this is more anticipatory for Tempest. Like, I imagine right now with the Fleet Beacon done, he's going to start adding Tempests. But most important, first and foremost, he's going to start clearing the creep over. If he could actually force field this off, exactly, force field this off and go for this base over here at the right side. Now, Mothership Core gets sniped down. Lives. Colossus lives. Okay, that's something different. So once again, Symbol drops down to 3 base. Deer in an obnoxiously really good position, but man, here comes the Swarm Host inside the main base. And what they could do, they could unburrow and they could just go back in. Worst comes worst. Zeld's going to aggro some of the Locust Fire right away, but here goes losses of gates and everything else. They're going to lose some probes along the way. Now with the Queens, there we can see the Tempest trying to be a little bit careful and cautious as they walk up. One Queen goes down, doesn't transfuse it. Meanwhile, over here on the other side of the map, we have a complete breach in everything. All the Swarm Hosts get stormed down, pushed on through, the Observer spotting everything, and that's the beauty of it. The Archons, like I said, they could take out a lot of damage. The Colossus number with the upgrade blows on through. The natural is basically taken out. Now he's going to take down all of these Overlords. This is going to permanently supply block Symbol, I want to say. He can't really produce much after these 9 Swarm Hosts and these 2 Vipers, and a lot of these Swarm Hosts are just walking out to their death anyways. When this is your remaining army right here, a Symbol, it's very immobile. You're really relying heavily on 4 Queens to somehow magically, miraculously to keep these Swarm Hosts alive. And that's not possible. That's just not possible. We see more gates getting added on. We see 2 Colossus still getting produced behind this somehow, trying to get them out because, you know, AoE is AoE. It's still very important to have. So there he goes. He clears all of that out. Now, does he have an Observer with him? Did he lose it? No, he still has 2 Observers out on the map. So that's actually probably the most important thing. As long as he keeps the Observers alive, I think he could win this game. I really do. Blinks back, saves that Stalker. Here he comes up. Now again, some of these won't even have the chance of daylight to live. Like the Sparkle with the +3 attack, the Archon's tanking. You're gonna watch as a lot of these structures are just gonna fall apart. Takes out the hatchery, and that's the final hatch right now for Symbol. And oh, smooth criminal you are. Smooth criminal you are, dear. Takes out all the hatcheries, takes out all the tech, and decides to just warp back on home. Viper, snagging away. Colossus will live. They're getting out of there, and I think that's over. Yep. At this point, this is when everything kind of starts going downhill. The first initial Swarm Hosts and Locusts are broken through. The AoE is breaking through as well. Observers are in position. The final Locust should be falling right now, and after that, we should watch and see as everything else does fall. No, wait, hold on. There's one Observer. Where's it at? There's one observer out on the map now. There it is. Okay, there it is. Now it's game. I was about to say, I'm like, how did he lose all of the observers within that? GG. All right, and congratulations, dear me, oh my. We shall see you in the semifinal.